Kangaroo is a great source of protein and iron. You can find it at all your supermarkets these days. And if you like beef, I assure you, you are going to love kangaroo fillet. I love cooking with it. And I'm going to give it a bit of a Mexican feel by making some tacos. So I brought the kangaroo out of the fridge about 40 minutes ago. You don't want it to be too cold when you cook it because we want it to cook nice and evenly. So I also like to pat it dry. So we'll take it out of the pack. You can see how lean it is. It's such a fantastic meat to enjoy. So we want to pat it dry and a good pinch of salt, pepper and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. So we'll start with the oil and we'll just take it off the paper. Fantastic. A small drizzle. Essentially we're putting that olive oil on so that salt sticks. So I'll just spread that on both sides and then we'll add a good pinch of salt. We want a good pinch of salt, not only to season it, but just so we can form that crust. And good old pepper, so freshly cracked pepper over the top. So lots of freshly cracked pepper, and we can start grilling our kangaroo. So we'll just pop that salt and pepper on both sides and then straight into a pan or a grill pan. Nice and hot. Because this is so lean, it doesn't take much time to cook at all, maybe 3 to 4 minutes on each side. I like my kangaroo to be nice and pink in the centre. So while that's cooking, I'm going to prepare a Mexican style butter just to finish off that beautiful kangaroo. So in my nifty little chopper here, I'll add some softened butter, good amount of that in there, along with some ginger. Just going to roughly chop the ginger. Lots of garlic, so I've got 4 cloves of garlic. Some spices, so a combination of cumin, some smoked paprika, and I love some dried oregano. They can all go in together. You can see I've got a lot more of that smoked paprika because I love that smoky flavour. Speaking of smoky flavours, I'll also add some chipotle in adobo sauce. So you can find this at all your supermarkets now, and some delis have it too. Essentially, it's chipotle chilies that have been cooked down in a rich tomato sauce, so it's got a lovely smoky flavour. They can go in. I've added 2 because I want this to be quite fiery, but if you don't want that spice, just add a little bit, maybe even half a chili. Also, some gorgeous coriander. Now, I only want the stalks of the coriander. We'll use these leaves to garnish. So much flavour in the stalks and the roots too. Just make sure you give it a good wash as per usual because it does retain quite a lot of sand. So we'll pop that in. For some sweetness, I'm using agave syrup. Maple syrup also works a treat. A small amount of that. And to balance that sweetness, a hint of vinegar. Fantastic, so big and bold flavours to go with our kangaroo. Lid goes on and I'm going to chop this until it's completely combined. Oh, look at that. Everything is perfectly chopped and combined nicely. I can actually smell the intensity of it. I love it. Okay, we'll pop that to the side. Now let's go back to the kangaroo. We'll turn it over. Oh, look at those char marks. That's all we're after. That is just perfect. So we'll just give it another 3 to 4 minutes on that side before we add the butter. Okay, kangaroo is looking good. So now time for the butter. A generous spoonful can go into the pan. And our aim here is just to baste this kangaroo with this flavoursome butter. And that's all that needs to be done. We'll take it out of the pan. This is almost like a post-marinade. Okay, really happy with that. So this needs to rest. We'll just pop that to the side while we get everything else ready for these yummy tacos. So I've just got a crepe pan here. You can use any pan and some flour tortillas. These are street tacos, so they're smaller. I love these because they're traditional and they're bite-sized. So we'll just warm them up on each side. Some avocado for some creaminess. Nice ripe avocado. We're just going to cut that in half. And this is a little trick I've seen lately, is just to press the avocado on the side and you'll see that the seed comes out nice and easily now and it's safe, so you don't have to use your knife. heard there's a lot of accidents that happen with the knife trying to get the seed out. So that's the safest option. We're going to cut that in half. And just for my 4 tacos here, I only need 1/4 of an avocado. We'll take the skin off. And just with a sharp knife, just going to slice it. So we only want 1 slice per taco. Great. Pop that to the side. And the tortillas are ready, so we'll take them out of the pan and let's start building these kangaroo tacos. So we'll start with some sour cream. You could also use some yogurt if you like. Just a small amount on each of our tortillas. And we'll spread that out. You can see like even just 1/4 of a teaspoon is all we're after, because I've got a lot of toppings with this just to keep it really interesting, different types of textures. So for our kangaroo, it has rested nicely. I'll get a nice sharp knife. We want to cut it quite thin. Because it's a taco, you don't want big chunks of the kangaroo, just like a sandwich. You want it to be really thin, so every mouthful you get all the ingredients. Just have a look at how tender and juicy this beautiful kangaroo is. I just love it. That'll be enough for our 4 tacos. Next, we'll add some avocado, 1 slice per taco. And for our thin slices of kangaroo, over the top, 3 or 4 slices. Some onion. Now this is just some salad onion that I've finely sliced. Little sprinkle. It's not just for the flavour, it's nice and crunchy too, and really fresh. Some beautiful feta, so we'll just crumble that up and just a little bit on each. Coriander, just a little leaf on each, just to really accentuate that coriander flavour that we've added to the marinade. And last but not least, some toasted almonds, because I just think it's so pretty over each of the tacos. Ooh, it's going to be pretty good. A bright blue plate. And when you're just assembling this, I kind of like to pile them next to each other so they sit up proudly. So squish them on the plate next to each other. And the last one, just there. A squeeze of lime if you like, but really that's all you need to make an epic kangaroo taco.